Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and I hope you had a great week. Today we're going to talk about slaying the inner narcissist. You see, experiencing narcissistic abuse or being in any kind of a narcissistic relationship can be so traumatizing to you. And when it becomes so traumatizing, it will of course leave these emotional or deep emotional scars which will have like or which will be like long lasting reminders of what you've been put through by that ex-partner. And the thing about a narcissist is they'll always view the world from a kind of distorted perspective, and they lack empathy for others. They don't really care so much about others. So when you are in this kind of relationship, you may find yourself engaging in some hurtful or some undesirable behaviors in your quest to survive that relationship. And this is mostly called reactive abuse or reactive response. You can check, I made a video about that in the past. You can check it in the description. So the narcissist in that kind of relationship will always frustrate you, and of course they'll always demean you. And when you are pushed to the limit, you may get to the point where you feel so frustrated about them, and you may engage in some sort of unhealthy kind of retaliation. And this unhealthy kind of retaliation can be in the form of rage, anger, breaking a few cups, punching walls, unleashing your wrath on your innocent kids, or on your family, or on your friends, or on your colleagues, or on innocent strangers, or just any kinds of behavior which are harmful to others. So the pain you are feeling has also made you so cynical and hateful of men, or just the whole world, or hateful of women, depending on the kind of sexual orientation you are hateful to you are in with. And the thing is, you may feel that everyone is out there to hurt you, or everyone is just there to get you. This is because your empathy was exploited by the narcissist. And as a defense mechanism, you may adopt this attitude that you don't care anymore. Like there's no need to be empathic. The world is just this ugly place. So now it's also your turn to step on others. It's just a defense mechanism. And when you are not aware of all this, you may end up being very hurtful to those who still care about you, or being very hurtful to just those innocent people who don't even know what you've been through, or who don't understand what you've been through. And you may get to the point where you normalize this behavior because that's what you've been used to in most of your relationships. And the thing is, when we do something for a very long time, we might think it's normal, and also the mind might think it's normal also. So another thing is, when you leave the relationship, you may find yourself feeling, of course, very resentful or very envious of other people who seem to be living or leading some normal lives, because you are in pain deep inside, and then other people are just laughing there, enjoying their relationship. So you might feel very, very jealous of them, and you might even wish they break up or they separate. This is because you are still in pain. And in some instances, let's say you jump into a new relationship, you may find yourself being overly suspicious, controlling, jealous of your partner, and you may even try to limit your partner's movements because you're just afraid of them betraying you again. And of course, the moment you control them, this control will have some sense of toxicity in it, because it's what your ex-partner used to do to you. So the thing about these feelings is, it can be very hard to overcome or to be even aware of, and it may develop something we can call now the inner narcissist, like a narcissist inside you, in quotes. This is because the more you stay in any kind of toxic environment, the more you will begin to seep in some subtle toxic behaviors, or some subtle narcissistic tendencies. And the thing about behavior is, every kind of behavior, it's contagious. So toxic behavior is also contagious. And especially when you're not aware of it, you may find yourself normalizing some of those toxic behaviors, even long after you've left that toxic relationship. So you develop this inner narcissist, or you picked up these toxic tendencies as you sought to survive in that toxic relationship. But now, after you leave the relationship, you're still continuing with those narcissistic tendencies because they've become like a habit. And these toxic behaviors may include something like being overly self-reliant, like I don't need anyone, or seeking constant admiration and validation from others, or feeling so entitled to someone's care. You might feel so entitled to your family's care or your friends' care because of what you've been through. You just want them to care for you, or you may be extremely jealous. You may also lack empathy, or you may also find yourself solely focusing on your own needs at the expense of others. And the thing is, your life at this moment is just being driven by pain. And when you live this way, of course, you'll unconsciously inflict pain on yourself and on other innocent bystanders. You might just find yourself in this state of exhibiting some sort of mind games. You may also use some sort of mind games to get some of the things you want in life, because that was what was used against you in that narcissistic relationship. So that's why it's good to be watchful of those toxic behaviors you've picked up from that past relationship. And you may develop these tendencies, or we can call it toxic behaviors, or we can call it narcissistic tendencies, as a result of just staying in an abusive relationship for a very long time. But the thing is, you don't have to beat yourself up when you find yourself in engaging in that kind of toxic behaviors. You just have to understand that you picked it as a defense mechanism, and now that you've left that toxic relationship, it's up to you to work on yourself. It's up to you to work on yourself to weed out these toxicities which were fed into you by that past toxic partner. This is because you need to be aware that you cannot live fully in this state. It is not sustainable. And of course, it will ruin your ability to form healthy connections. You will even end up hurting yourself, or even continuing unleashing some sort of emotional abusive ways. It's more like you may find yourself emotionally abusing yourself even long after that narcissist has left your life. So you are just continuing the abuse emotionally. That's because the seeds were planted a long time ago. But the bright side is this: you can of course slay that inner narcissist by going inwards and processing your trauma and the pain, so that you can connect with your loving self, or so that you can connect with your authentic self. And the thing is, when you deal with your toxic tendencies, it's more like you'll be rebuilding a healthy relationship with yourself. And when you build that healthy relationship with yourself, it will then grow to be a healthy and deep, fulfilling connections with others. But on the other hand, if you don't really go inwards and you live with these deep feelings of cynicism or hate or resentment, it will just weigh you down, because you'll be letting the past dictate your actions. So it will be more like you've left the narcissist, but the narcissist has not left you. So your empathy is not your weakness. It's actually your greatest superpower, and you don't have to let that pain hold you back. You don't have to let what others did to you make you be so carefree. No. And the thing is, it's not really easy to slay that inner narcissist, because that inner narcissist will feed you with a whole lot of reasonable excuses on why you need to keep living that way, on why you need to keep living with those toxicities, because it may be serving you, it may be providing you with some needs in the present moment, but that's not your true self. It's just a cloak of painful memories and experiences which were inflicted by the true narcissist. So work on yourself to slay that narcissist instead of hurting other people unconsciously, of course. And you'll also begin to at least be more compassionate with yourself and love yourself. Hope you found that informative, guys. So work on yourself to slay that narcissist. Leaving the relationship was just a step, but now you have to really go inwards and remove those beliefs, remove that inner narcissist deep within you, which will continue inflicting more pain in you if you don't work on yourself. Hope you found that informative, guys. Until next time, have a nice day.